All right, good afternoon, Gambia. Welcome back to another, interesting youth hour with me, LAMIN KUYATEH. As you know, I always bring for you, prominent youths from the country. This is a program which, is, exclusive for the young people. Today, I have a very vibrant lady. Because many will tell me, KUYATEH, you always bring in male youth, but we don't see the female youth. But today here with me, I have a very, vibrant youth beside me.
Thank you very much, Lamin. Good afternoon, viewers. I am Binta Dibojan, the Vice President of UTG Social Sciences and Humanities Students Association. Aside from that, I'm also a kind of gender activist, and I'm really honored to be here today, Lamin.
You are most welcome, Binta. Okay, as Binta just alluded right now, she is the Vice, President of, the Social Sciences, right?
Yes.
Of the University of the Gambia. So, Binta, it's a pleasure for us to have you here. So today our program is going to be centered on women's underrepresentation in the National Assembly. So I want us to do justice to that. Viewers out there would like to know why is it that just recent concluded in the National Assembly election, we've found out that only 3 women were elected to be part of, I can say 2, and 1 is nominated to be part of the National Assembly. What is your take on that?
Well, Lamin, women representation in decision making with regards to politics is really fundamental. First, before we delve into the topic proper, I would just want to say that in order for us to have a developed society, every aspect of the society should be in the front line in the decision-making processes of that particular country. And women are not excluded. But when you look at the trajectory of this country, women are always undermined, like you said. Women are always marginalized. What is the cause of this? You may want to ask. We give back to the society again. Women's underlying, say, starts from society, starts from grassroots. Let's look at our homes, for instance. Even in the decision-making processes, men are given the privilege to do that. As a woman, when you want to talk, they may be like, you have no say in this decision. And whatever the man says is usually the final. So in order to improve on that, everything that starts within the society have an effect outside. Understand? That is why women's representation in Gambian politics, I would say, is definitely undermined. Let's look at the last parliamentary election, for instance. How many women stood up to tell people that they want to represent them? How many women stood up to show interest that they want to serve their country? It's not that they don't have the capability or the competence to do it.
Most definitely.
They do. But what made them fail is support. Okay. Women do not have the support they need. And you would realize that it is ironic that the women that are supposed to support their fellow women for their voices to be heard at the National Assembly are the very ones supporting the men populace. So these are some of the problems that we are facing. These are some of the problems that are undermining the women political participation of the Gambia. And in order to mitigate that, we have to look into things differently. We have to let go of the societal misconceptions. We have to let go of the some of the traditional values that is inculcated in our minds. Because as we all know, women contribute to a lot of socioeconomic development.
Yes, before we go to the women's contribution, now let's look at why is it that women are undermined, like you said? Why is it that support line for the women within the society, more especially in the country, it's not that at that rate which one can say, okay, this is exactly which women should be expecting at the end of the day. You understand? Looking at the percentage of women, 51%, that's a high chunk. You understand? You compare to the youths, you have 55%, 65%. You understand? What do you think from your own point of view that these are some of the things which are leading to women to be undermined when it comes to decision making in the country?
Before I talk about that, I want to put something across. You know, these politicians, when they want to get to where they want,
yes,
they always come back to us as women, but they'll never allow us to lead. You understand? They'll always make us mobilize us because they know the influence that we have.
Yeah.
If they can see that we have that influence, why don't they put us at the front line? Why don't they rally behind us like we always rally behind them? You know, this is what is retarding the development of the Gambia. People don't know. Development is not only centered on one gender. No. In order to develop this country, we have to come together as one people, regardless of our gender, regardless of our colors, regardless of anything else. All we need to have is the spirit of patriotism. And I know a lot of women have that patriotism in them. But what is keeping them? Fear. I cannot do this. Insecurities. Insecurities are something that that is common in the women form. I don't know if you're getting...
Yes, I'm getting you, Claire.
Understand? Women have that insecurity that they may not do, or they cannot do what men can do. And still we have to go back to the society. That is how we were brought up. Those were the things we were told. That no matter how you go, you cannot be above men. These are your fathers. These are the people that you came from. So if you have that misconception, even though you have that great potential in you, it will retard some of your confidence. You understand? That is why in everything that that is affecting women, we'll have to go back to the society because it is what is inculcated in them.
Most definitely.
You understand? And now you said they are undermined. Let's say, for instance, all the women that participated in this national parliamentary elections, out of them only 2 were elected, if I am right. And then 1 nominated. Now we have 3 women, if I'm correct, amongst the 53 members of the National Assembly. And that is not right.
And looking at the percentage, look at the total number of women that participated, 19.
It is right because men outnumbered the women in parliament. So if that happens, how do you expect our voices to be heard? How do you expect us to lament our problems? Because I know these politicians will come to you.
But would you also say that women are not aware of politics and development in the country? That also give back to what we are seeing today?
No, we cannot say that. Maybe if time wasn't now, we could say that as one of the reasons. But now that people are well aware of their fundamental human rights, now that people are advocating for women political participation, I think the history is changing.
Most definitely.
Yeah. Compared to previous years, how many women were taking part in politics? Now you look at the history now, or you look at the trajectory now, you would see there are a lot of difference. But all we need to do is to always talk about these things. All we need to do is to show women that they matter, that they have the competence to do what these men are doing. You know? These are some of the things that are going to help the women folk to stand up for themselves, to stand up and talk for their voices to be heard. Yeah. Good.
You made mention of, like, you know, because in anything that women are to do, in most cases, society is something which, you know, they always look back. You understand? Because we have norms and values. Women, they are very, very prominent. They are very, very important when it comes to society. Certain comes to decision-making process. They will like, women should not have a stake. But like I always tell you, I'm a feminist and I always, you know, dispute to that. You understand? To say that, okay, women should not be here. They should not be part of decision-making. I believe when we talk about decision, it has to be both genders, both men and females have to be around. You understand, to be able to have, I mean, a unified, decision-making process to have a development in the country. But then you made mention of like the social insecurity, which is very, very paramount. And I want us to put more light into that, to be able to tell that women's viewers down there, these young ladies that are coming up, to be able to understand that sometimes, yes, we may pay heed to the societal norms and values, but sometimes also it shouldn't, hold or not to show out, understand, the potential that we have in us. What do you think could be those steps that you think these young ladies like you coming up to be able to let the society understand that, yes, we have potential in us, we can do it, and we can be there with men to push and pull with them? What do you think could be those steps that women should be doing to be able to make their voice heard?
Well, it has to start from grassroots. Like they always say, charity begins at home. Start taking part in your societal development or community development, because these are some of the things that that empowers you. These are some of the things that motivates you, even if you don't get anything out of them. Now we go to the schools.
Yeah.
Extracurricular activities.
Definitely.
A lot of people think going to school is all about getting your A's, the grades, and then graduating with honors and everything, or distinctions. But what they fail to understand is the importance of extracurricular activities. Take part in the development of your society, and then that will give back to the development of the nation, because it is a gradual process. Let's say, for instance, currently in the UTG, a lot of people have that fear that I don't want to take part in politics. I don't want to do this. All I want is to get my A's and then graduate with summa cum laude or magna cum laude, stuff like that. In as much as those are important, but then also taking part in the development of that same university is also important. Because when you look at it, we are the future leaders. And in order to go and develop the nation, we have to develop where we are first, and that is the University of the Gambia.
Most definitely.
That is why it is important for women to stand up now. Look up to their fellow women who are doing great, and then copy them or imitate them, because you always get inspiration from someone. We are not all born, we are not naturally gifted with everything that we think we are. Sometimes you must draw some inspiration from people. Like, let's say, oh, Lamin is a vibrant TV personnel. I want to be like him. And then you start working on it. We must get inspiration from each other. That is why it is important for us to take part in our societal development, and then that way we will have a very better future for our nation.
So it's like what you guys said. In short, there must be that grassroots, sensitization.
Yes.
Trying to bring young women together to have that inclusion, participation, comes to decision-making process. That is very, very important. I think the area that you're talking about here is something which really tell well, and viewers out there should be able to understand that definitely women have a big role to play comes to decision-making. More especially comes to national development. They are stakeholders, and they should not be left behind. Like the saying goes, in any compound you go to, anywhere you go to, you've seen men doing what they can do, men's living in a fancy, that there must be a strong iron ladies behind them. So kudos to all the women out there watching this program. Definitely, we don't want you people to be left behind, but we can see that, like you said, there are some social insecurity and those social norms and values which also keeping women not to show up themselves. But I will tell you people, I'm with you women, okay? I am a feminist.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm with you. So let's try to make sure that we tell the men that, okay, if a man can do this, women also can do it.
What a woman can do.
A man can do, exactly. Very good. So now comes to, because we cannot be talking about and tell about women, not talking about the disability, people with disability or differently able people. You understand? When you look at the fifth legislature, we have one lady there who is a disabled, disabled person. But when you look at now, you find out that in the house, we don't see any woman who is differently able. What do you think that is telling the women's folk in the Gambia?
Well, first I must confess that I'm sad about that. At least I think there should be that representation, like equal representation for everyone. Development is all inclusive. regardless of what you are.
Most definitely.
So definitely to at least have one of those differently abled in the National Assembly or in the front line is going to show the rest that yes, they matter, that yes, they are not left behind. Because sometimes what these people think is maybe they are marginalized or they are being neglected. But then having one of their representatives there is going to show them that no, this is not the case. You people are important as any other person in this country. And your voices are going to be well heard. Your voices need to be heard by people. What you are facing need to be known to the whole country. So I think not having them is also something that needs to be looked into. Definitely.
Yeah. I think that is well clear from from her point. People with differently able, how would I call it, phenotypes or let's say outlook should be really considered, because having them also in the National Assembly also will definitely pay dividend, because we have people around the country who are exactly people like them. So they will also have the confidence that okay, we have an individual like our type in the National Assembly. So we believe that anything that is directly affecting us, these are the individuals who will be at least able to transmit it or to inform the executive, okay, this is what the people need in the country. But then leaving them behind, it's not really telling well. And I can say I am also saddened anyway to say that okay, we don't have people that are differently able in the National Assembly.
But yes. I'm not cutting you short, but I think more sensitization needs to be done when it comes to their aspect as well. I mean, they need to know that they matter. They need to know that what every other person in this country is doing, they can also do it. They don't need to hold themselves back. Because we have seen people that are differently able yet doing some numerous things, some big things for this country. So if those people can do it, how about what are they waiting for? That doesn't mean the others cannot do it. They can look up to those people and say, well, I am in the same condition with this particular person, but he or she is doing this, and I also can do it. So that way, if one person copies from another, and then another person copies from the other, and then the generation is going to be okay. Yeah, they need to feel the sense of belonging, that yes, we can also take part in this. That is what I want to put out there for if they are privileged to watch this. That is what I want them to know, that they cannot be left behind. They are agents of development, and they must stand up to make sure their voices are heard.
Very good, very good. Secondly, also, when you look at the then National Assembly Speaker, was a female.
Yes.
And today, this time around, we don't see her, behind the same seat. And just recently, we learned that Fabakary Tombong is the Speaker of the National Assembly. So women should be like, wow. You understand? It's like the female is gone out, and with time being, you understand that the trend might continue. I am not sure, because now having 3 in the National Assembly, who knows what the future holds? Nobody knows. So I mean, I think definitely government really needs to have to look into women's issue very well. And I believe women's activities all over. Like I always take a typical example of Lala today. I always keep following her program. She's somebody who is very, very concerned, and she's always very, very vibrant, and she has been speaking for women, serving them as their mouthpiece. And really, definitely, she's definitely doing well. What do you think from your own take as a social science studies student, you understand, and also with your capacity, you doing at the university level, to be able to trickle down, you understand, confident of young women, you understand, to the societal, to be able to tell women in the societal level that, okay, we can do this. We are in the front line, like you said. You understand, we also need to break the barriers. What do you think you are also doing?
Well, that is a very interesting question, and in fact, very timely and prominent. Like, when you look at the history of the University of the Gambia Students' Union, it has always been men being the president. I think we had only one female president of the Students' Union. Even though now in sub-associations, history is changing, because when you go to the Faculty of Law, their president has started being ladies. It's ladies that are presidents, and then guys or male being vice president. But then sometimes when you look at it, you ask a woman to be president. No, I cannot be president. Let me just rally behind the men. You know, this is what is retarding our growth.
And that is one of the factors.
It is one of the factors, exactly. So we cannot always rally behind these people. We must stand up and show them that yes, if FGM can be the president.
But how ready are women doing that? How ready are you guys doing that to be ensured to tell women? Because the moment you tell men, okay, well, entertaining I cannot do this, you understand? They'll be like, wow, this is our lead. We should be there.
We are 100% ready. We are 100% ready. Like I said earlier, the dynamics is changing. A lot of women are aware of their political rights nowadays. And then if we are to continue strengthening or sensitizing, talking about women political participation, I am sure the generation to come are going to get something out of that. You know, we cannot stop talking. We must talk to make sure we impact lives. We must talk to make sure we change the narratives. Understand? That is why we cannot stop talking. Like this conversation we are having right now is essential, because every woman that looks at us or watch this today would know that there is absolutely something that that she can do. So if that can happen, I would encourage you, like you said, you've always been inviting guys here. I want to be seeing more of ladies. We want to be included in every aspect of our national development. We need to be frontliners as equal to men to ensure equality and equity. We definitely need to be there.
Yes.
So yeah, sometimes you would also see a man and a woman colliding at a post, at a position. Yeah. But then it is always ironic seeing women's fellow women supporting that man over the women. I think that is a huge factor that is retarding the growth of women in this country. You understand? Women do not support their fellow women. It could be out of jealousy or spite or whatsoever, or insecurities. We don't know. But in this country, women would rather support men over
but I think to intervene to that area, you should be able to know, as women, should be able to know, what do you think that women, your fellow women, are not giving you the confidence to be able to support you guys? Because we understand that this is something that, you know, is very, very important. We should support one another.
Definitely.
This is about national development.
Yeah.
So why is it that women are always running behind men, whilst, you know, women themselves are not running behind themselves? You understand? So what do you think? What do you think? Could you think at your own disposal to be able to say that, okay, I believe to say that insecurity or jealousy or spite whatsoever could be a reason. I believe there must be a reason that is.
Well, like I said earlier, we have been brought up that way.
Is it because of the fellow women don't have confidence in you people? Is it that?
It cannot be that, because you don't just wake up one day and get into politics. It has always come. It's a process. They must have seen the contributions you are doing towards national development or the development of your society. Therefore, they cannot say they don't see the confidence that you can do what the men they are supporting are doing. It cannot be that. It cannot be women lacking the confidence to do what these people are doing. The support, the effect has to be from the society. Like I said, everything that we talk about bounces back to the society. So, you know, we are always, we have been brought up that way. That is what has been inculcated in our hearts and minds, that yes, we should always rally behind men. But they forgot that, as I said, behind every successful man, there is a woman behind it.
Most definitely.
But if that woman can be responsible for your successfulness, then why don't you think that women can also be successful like you are, especially when it comes to the decision-making process. Sometimes we really need to reflect back to these things. We need to reflect back and then see the advantages or maybe the disadvantages and some of the challenges as well. What is stopping these people from doing?
We will come to the challenges. We will come to the challenges.
Yeah?
Yeah. Like the last time I had this conversation with one old man regarding women's comes to be part of this decision-making process. Guess what the man told me was like, no, I think that is a no-go area for the women. Yeah, it's come to family issues when we have to make decisions. Men have to come together, you understand, and have that banter bar in the you understand. By the moon, like you said, you understand.
Like
so women, they have no say because men have to be around, discuss about family development, things like. But I was like, I disputed. I said no, but I think it has to be. We have to be gender balanced. You have to be fair here.
Yes.
Women are always breaking the barrier. You understand. Today, you men coming together to form a decision. You understand. Everything starts from the juvenile stage. You understand. It is women's which bring us up. You understand. And there are certain things which today we are doing. If it is not because of their right guidance and then well take care of today we will not be here. So I believe when it comes to decision making, women have to be in the center. So they are stakeholders like but he was like, no, when you come to the Islamic perspective, women have to understand. They decided to bring that Islamic idea. Though it is not about like I told him that it's not about like a fight against Islam, but I believe it comes to have a genuine and a meaningful development. We shouldn't leave women. They have a say. They have a say. Provided it could be like 10 men can come together and then be bringing decision over certain things. But then none of them will be speaking sound. None of them will be saying something which could be very very at least important enough. But when you have one iron lady among you, maybe he's one suggestion. Everybody can rally behind that individual. So I believe it is very very important that we have them on the board to be able to have a meaningful decision making at the end of the day. Now away from that, now let's look at these young girls in the rural areas. Understand, when we talks about development, participation in politics, we will not say we don't see them. Everything we say, it is in the urban area. If you are not in the urban areas, you are not included. I don't know whether you are also working towards that at the university level, maybe at your social networking level, to be able to have them also on board, to be able to inform them about some of the roles and responsibilities of women, you understand, as they are going to be in the future, so that when it comes to decision making, they are not left behind.
Well, yes. If you have been following the events at the University of the Gambia, you would realize that the UTG embarks on a Students' Week. And in the Students' Week, we go on community outreaches. We visit schools. We talk to them literally about issues, contemporary issues. And when you look at the social sciences as well, sometimes every year, we collaborate with the natural sciences, and then we have the School of Arts and Sciences. We embark on nationwide tour, and in this nationwide tour, just like the Students' Week, we embark on community outreaches. We embark on school outreaches, and in these outreaches, we talk about contemporary issues. Sometimes these people get inspired by that because we show it to them that yes, they are important as well as we are important. We are not better than them. In fact, we are not smarter than them.
Indeed.
These people are, if you look at the success of the University of the Gambia, you look at the people that are doing very well, they hail from the rural areas. So if those people can do that, how about those that are staying there? That is why we always go back to them. Tell them that they are important. Tell them that they can do what we are doing. Show it to them that we are not better than them. Understand? I think, and I know a lot of organizations that go back to these the rural areas and talk to them. We want to stop this marginalization. We want to focus the development on the nation and not the urban areas. Because when you talk, just look at farming, for instance. These people embark on farming and they are doing very well. So if those people can be doing that, and that also adds to the agricultural development of the country. So if they are the ones responsible for that, then how about including them in the political participation?
Indeed.
Including making them frontliners, making them development agents. This is really significant. That is why those at the rural areas should come on board and show themselves, show what they can do, because we are not better than them. We are not doing what more than they are doing. Whether you know it or not, they have schools that are very good, and in these schools you have very bright students there.
Most definitely.
You would come to realize that when you go to these school outreaches, when these people talk LAMIN, you would wish you are in their position.
Seriously.
You would wish they are included, and the future is bright, I can say.
Yeah.
Because those people, I know they must come. Someday somehow they must be something. They must be great leaders. But what is I think what is retarding their participation as well is decentralization. Everything is focused in the urban areas.
Yeah.
Like you cannot do something, or you cannot exceed without coming here. And that is what we should really look into. The government should at least post some of their vibrant offices at the rural area. That way, these people would be able to do something for their respective villages without coming to the urban areas.
Definitely.
And that is really significant. Decentralization must happen. Let government officials have some of their offices centered at the rural areas to make sure these people also take part in those areas without having to come to the urban centers for looking for white collar jobs or looking for better opportunities.
Definitely.
Yes, because we definitely have bright people, bright minds in the rural areas. They must have a sort of place where they can see themselves as development agents and stakeholders. Definitely. Yeah.
Definitely. Okay, for those of you joining us right now, I am with Binta Diboja, and today she is the vibrant lady that I'm with here discussing about women in politics, more especially women's underrepresentation in the National Assembly. That is what the theme of the discussion today, and definitely she's really doing justice with the topic. And I'm encouraging all of you, those watching me right now, continue staying tuned and then learn more from this conversation. Binta, to continue, during that community outreach, meeting students and their various schools, I know you must have them students in their town halls, meeting maybe in a big hall, you understand, various questions, and they'll be answered. What do you think could be those questions that are always appearing, that students are always asking in favor from you people?
Well, actually, we talk about different topics, and of course we also have partners. So basically, the questions that they usually ask differs based on the topic that we present to them.
Okay.
Sometimes we talk to them about the importance of university education, and that is where we tell them that majority of high performers in the University of the Gambia hail from the rural areas, and that you should not feel that yes, because you are, and sometimes they ask questions regarding that. Yes, they ask questions regarding that, like they are not given the opportunity, or let's say for instance they are not they also want to come to the urban areas because they want to be like us. You see, they look up to us. But sometimes you will realize that what these students say is in fact smarter than what you tell them. They come up with smart ideas and smart questions. That is why I said decentralization is a need for these people.
Indeed.
Yes,
Indeed.
Definitely.
Good.
So sometimes they ask questions regarding that, regarding their opportunities to be in the urban areas and then addressing issues. But then we show it to them that yes, you can make it just like we did. You cannot be left behind because you are smart. You are necessary. You can do it more than what you can do. You can do more than what we are doing right now, and that is why you should focus on what you are doing right now. That is your studies. Perform well, read hard, and then you will get to where we are, or you will even get to a more higher stage than we are. I think this is what they need. They need that inspiration, because you will realize even after your presentation, some will come to you and then they want you to be their mentors. You see? So these are some of the things that we can do.
Yeah, but sometimes also in the rural areas.
Connect with them as much as possible.
Yes. You will understand that sometimes you will see some of these bright students in the rural areas. They will have the heart to learn, but then they will tell you our parents are they are problems. Sometimes you will see them in the classroom, you adore them very well. Look at their performance, they do extremely marvelous. But then they will tell you, well, we are farmers. Sometimes you see they will come, their parents will come and then get them from the class and take them to the farmland. It happened to me when I was in grade 11. One of my colleagues, we were doing a test there, and the father just came and then tell our classes, class said that, okay, Mr. So, well, today I have to take my boy to the farmland because right now it's very tense there, so I can't leave him to continue. So things like that, I know there must be some issues which students also might try to to bring to your disposal to say that, okay, why not we also have engagement with our parents to be able to understand the importance of university education as young ladies growing up.
I think we've never come across that. At least for all these times that I've gone on community outreaches and school outreaches, I've never come across a question of sort. But we also engage the community as well, and maybe in our subsequent outreaches, we may put it forward, the importance of university education, because usually we treat that topic at school outreaches. For the societies or the communities, we talk about other contemporary societal issues. So definitely, I think that is kind of a recommendation. It's a recommendation in disguise anyway. So we are also going to look into that and then see how best we can engage these parents of the students that yes, let them allow their kids to learn. I thought you were going to mention the issue of early marriage. A lot of these smart young women in the rural areas, usually they become dropouts because of early marriages. I think it is now that it is retarding. Like during our last nationwide tour, there is a lady that brought up the issue of early marriage. Like her parents wanting her to get married, but she does not want to. She is in fact in the senior school. Just for a few years or an year for her to graduate, then they want to get her married. This is ridiculous.
Definitely.
So yes, it's definitely ridiculous. So that is why those people need inspiration. That is why we also try by all means, we talk to them, that they cannot allow that. All they can do is to dialogue with their parents. Have a conversation, a meaningful one. They don't have to force it. Make these people understand that you are on the right path and you are going to the right direction. If you get to where you want to be, it is going to benefit them and the community where you hail from. So definitely that is something that we always talk to these students about, and thankfully they heed. Because after you talk to them, just listen to what one motivational speaker and see how inspired you get, how motivated you get. So we serve as agents like that to those people.
Indeed.
Indeed.
Good. Now to go back to the parliament still. Now let's talk about some of the expectation of those women representative in the National Assembly, because National Assembly has three functions, which the viewers let them to know. One of their functions is for the oversight function, parliamentary function, and the representative functions. So here let's talk about the representative function of the three National Assembly, females that they have. What do you think is expected from them?
Well, like I've been saying from the beginning, the people that voted them in obviously expect something from them. They must have presented policies that convince them for them to get their votes. So in order to get their votes in the next 5 years, when they want to run for the same place again, they have to implement their policies. And that implementation of policies is a problem in this country. People come to you, convince you that yes, if I win, I am going to do this. If I win as this, I am going to make sure. Let's say, for instance, you talk to women farmers. You tell them that I am going to make sure your farm gets this, your garden gets this. I am going to make sure your products, you have yields and everything. Make sure you do that. Because this is where these people get their source of income.
Most definitely.
This is where they get their livelihoods from. So you cannot promise them of something that you are not going to fulfill. The policies that you present to them and convince them that you are going to do this, and then you have their voice, you must implement those policies. Because come what may, if you do not present or if you do not implement your policies, you are not going to, we are not fools. You can come and fool us once, but not twice. Only if we are
blind.
Exactly.
Even though we are blind, but at least we'll be able to understand.
So if we are not going to vote for any person who do not implement their policies, they must implement their policies and make sure they represent our voices, because that is why we voted them in the first place. They must represent us to make sure they develop to the development of women in the society and in the nation.
So how do you expect that these representatives should work in tandem with their constituency? What do you think they should be doing to be able to at least be able to transport, understand their views to the parliament, to be able to address them at the end of the day?
Through dialogue. They must go back to the community again. You cannot go to them during the time of campaign and you talk to them, and then when you get what you got, when you get what you wanted, you neglect them. It cannot happen like that. Right now, you should not focus on developing yourself, as it is the case in this country. When people win this kind of positions, they focus on themselves rather than the people that made them who they are. So the people that are representing these women or their constituencies, they must go back to their constituencies again. I'm sure they must have mentioned the numerous problems to those people for them to garner votes. They must make sure they go back to those communities again and make sure they start working on those problems that they have mentioned, that in fact got them the votes that won them the elections. So it can always happen through dialogue. Let them have conversations with these people. There may be issues that they have left out or issues that have been sidelined. But then if you talk to them and then they present those issues, make sure you work hard to get them settled.
Definitely.
Even though the function of the parliament is to implement the laws, if I am right. If I've not dismissed the knowledge I've got from government, but I think that is it. So if they can impose those some of those problems or the laws that affect the growth of their particular, if the law is not in accordance with what the people want, they have the right to drop it or debate over it. That is what we expect of these people. We do not want them to be in the National Assembly and be keeping quiet and living. Exactly. Yes. We don't want that. We send you to the National Assembly to go and speak for us. Therefore, you cannot sit there and allow the debate to be centered on few people. We do not send you there for you to do that. Our votes may be one token. But it speaks a lot.
Most definitely.
It manifests the problems that we face. And we hope that when we give you this token, you will be able to make us realize our numerous dreams that we are unable to realize.
Yes. I think I'm also going to register my challenge to the representative in the House of Parliament. They should try to make sure that at their constituencies level to have their constituencies office, whereby they will at least work with some of the people within the societal level. If their constituent people in their constituency have a problem, they can go to the office and lodge it there. Then from there, then they can transport. Before transporting it, they can also work with some experts around them.
But I think they usually have bureaus.
Many will tell you when you go through QTV the election debates, you understand, you tend to realize that many will tell us that we have constituencies office when actually we don't have it. We don't see that.
Abstract.
You understand? Very good. So we expect them also, if it is not in their pipeline, let them try to put in their pipeline to be able to make sure that they work closely with their constituencies people, understand, in order to be able to easily transport their views to the National Assembly. I think that will also really help them a lot.
Yes.
Now let's come to can you give one or two challenges, because I'm afraid we are now coming to the end of the program. What do you think are some of the greatest challenges that women are facing in the country, which led them to not to be given that enough confidence to be in the House of Parliament, Charlie?
Well, first we look at the financial aspect. I think finance is really something that is stopping women from taking part in political processes. You know, politics is money.
Yeah.
Yes, if you don't get that, I think just even school politics, let's say university politics, the money you invest into that is quite a lot. It's quite huge.
Yeah.
So if that can be a problem in the university, how about national politics that you invest a lot in?
Yeah,
but we know yes,
like that,
we have a lot of women supporting organizations that are definitely helping women when they want to represent when they want to take part in politics. Like, let's say, for instance, the Women's Bureau. They usually help these people to boost their confidence to take part in this politics. So yeah, financial aspect is also is a very huge challenge to women political participation.
And also fellow women, also they give confidence to their fellow women.
Support. We come to that. That is the second point that I'm coming to. The support of women is really vital. And if there is not, if you do not get that, well, it is obviously going to be a hindrance in your success as a politician, a women politician, or in your decision making. Because these women have to rally behind us. You know, these men will come to you and make you the head of women's wing or a women mobilizer or some sort. But they will, and you will be prominent in doing those assignments. You get women to vote for these people. So those women that you get to vote for the men, those women, if they do not rally behind you, it is obviously a challenge. Definitely. So we need to make sure women are aware of their fundamental political rights to make sure we move forward as a developed country.
As a developed country.
Definitely, we are really at the back.
Yeah, definitely. And women are also looking forward.
Yeah.
So what is your final words to the viewers regarding women in politics?
Well, I want to put it out to every woman that is watching this, or everyone that is that have the privilege to watch this. Women are not puppets. We are not puppets, and we are not weak. We can do a lot. All what we need is to be empowered. Not that we are not empowered. We are empowered. But what we can do is for the society to accept that we can do what men can do. We have the zeal. We have the will to make the difference, to make changes, and it is about time we made those changes. It is about time we actualize our dreams. It is about time we became frontliners of national development. It is about time we take part in politics. It is not going to kill us, even though there are consequences. But this cannot stop us. In life, you cannot prosper without having criticisms. You cannot be a politician without having critics, because people will be there that will, no matter how good you are, people must talk about it.
Most definitely.
It is about time we dispose our insecurities, stand up and put our heads up, show it to the whole world that we matter, that we can do this, that we can do what men can do. It is about time we change the narratives as women. So I think this is what I'll leave for everyone that is watching this right now. Thank you.
Definitely, it is about time for women to be, in the upfront, to understand that it is time that they can make a change, and the nations cannot develop in the absence of women, and which is very, very fundamental. I think I will continue to say that I am a feminist. Women, I am with you. Anyway, I am afraid this has now brought us to the end of the program. With me, LAMIN, KUYATEH, and my able guests for the program, Bintadi Boja, we are definitely overwhelmed and of course appreciative of your coming to Vision TV Youth Hour. And to my cameraman Yankuba, Yaya Kurubali and Madam Samura, I definitely thank you all for being behind the scene. Until then, it is bye from me.